off the bat say thank you to all of our partners
Yes.
that have clicked that join button on YouTube down below.
You're keeping this operation going, okay?
Yes,
this is awesome.
But also, Sandy, what they can do is they can go and become a partner on our website. And we really, really, really need people to be partners on our website because you're helping us. We are really beginning to get some feedback from our television ministry, and we want you to be a part of that. So when you go there and you click to be a partner with us, we've got some new options to show you. Let's see if I can make this work here. It's not working. All right, so you click partner with us, and when you click partner with us, come on website. There we go. You can see on the screen there that you can send in your check, and many of you have done that. We thank you for that. Larry Ragland Ministries. We'll show you that at the end of the program. Again, you can do a one-time gift, or you can now partner with us in 4 different levels. We have a entry partner level, $10 a month, remnant partner, $25 a month, Global Harvest partner at $50, and Awake Not Woke partner at $100. If you're awake, not woke, and what you're doing is you're helping our television ministry, you're helping us grow with new equipment and so forth. And you can always, of course, get a copy of our book. Many of you have got a copy of our book, and we always want to encourage you that if you have got the book and you have read it, please go to Amazon and give us a review. Preferably a 5-star review if it blessed you, and take a picture of it, of you holding it or maybe laying on the table. And
we love those.
That will help us tremendously.
Yep. Speaking of TV, it's time to re-up.
It's time to re-up. Yep.
Those bills going to be coming, so if you guys can help us out, we will keep this television program going, at least for now. We're pledged to keep it going as long as
we've renewed
we can
for
pay
the
the
next
bills.
season. We've renewed for the next season. We've committed to the next season, and we've got some voiceovers, some things that we're doing, so be a part of that. Yeah. All right, so we got to get into the news. That's why they're here, Sandy. They're not here just to look at us.
No chit-chat? What? They're not here to talk?
They're not here to come on.
I thought this was just a meetup.
This is a fireside chat, y'all. So, all right, let's get into this. Of course, we're going to talk about Israel. But tonight, there's a breaking news thing that just happened.
Crazy.
And we really don't even know that many details on it. Breaking update, off-duty Alaska pilot charged with attempted murder after trying to take control of a plane and shut down the engines mid-flight. It says, as reported earlier, an Alaska's airline flight was diverted to Portland Sunday night over a credible security threat related to an authorized person in the unauthorized person. Authorized, excuse me.
That's important.
Yeah, authorized.
That's important.
Yeah, it is important. Yeah, in the cockpit. The airline said the authorized occupant was sitting in the flight deck jump seat. I'm starting off good tonight.
Yeah.
On October 22nd, Alaska Airlines Flight 2059, operated by Horizon Air in Everett, Washington, to San Francisco, reported a credible security threat related to an authorized occupant in the flight deck jump seat. The crew secured the aircraft without incident. Basically, the pilots did. It turns out the man who posed the security threat was an off-duty pilot, and the 2 pilots in the cockpit immediately jumped into action, neutralizing the threat and removed the man from the cockpit. Joseph David Emerson, 44, was arrested and charged with attempted murder. Now watch this. After he tried to shut down the engines mid-flight. Emerson was charged with 83 counts of attempted murder, 83 counts of reckless endangerment, and a count of endangering an aircraft. The jump seat occupant unsuccessfully attempted to disrupt the operation of the engines. Horizon captain and first officer quickly responded. Engine power was not lost, and the crew secured the aircraft without incident. So this is, we don't know anything about this Emerson guy, whatever, but this is a terrorist attack.
I want to say something. I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Okay.
Is this the modern age of news reporting? Okay, this is the Gateway Pundit. Mm-hmm.
But they're quoting NBC.
They're quoting NBC, correct. They are recycling information to us, and this is a place where we go almost weekly, probably every single week, to report the news to you. Yeah. But at some point, I don't want to jump to conclusions. I don't want to jump too quickly. This is unacceptable.
Wow.
I need to be getting a lot more details tomorrow. An actual pilot was in the plane and had to be, tied up by the 2 pilots that were flying this airplane, and he intended to take the plane down and kill 80-something people.
Exactly.
And we're just given very vague details.
Right.
This is not acceptable to me. I'm going to recommend to you what I'm going to do. If I don't get a lot of satisfactory details in the next day,
I'm scared, y'all.
No more than 2.
I'm scared.
I'm going to be writing someone.
Who you going to write? Who you going to write?
I'm going to figure out who I need to write. I'm going to have an outcry. We cannot sit here
it's breaking news. It just happened. Give them time.
I'm sorry. I don't have it.
Sandy, the news media will be good. They will do good.
This is so vague. If this is what the future looks like, I do not accept it.
I cannot believe that you're accusing the mainstream media of withholding information. Yeah. I'm shocked.
So your feelings, please, sir.
My feelings are exactly the same, but I also want to remind you that this just happened. And
that's why I'm saying I don't like it now, but I'm really going to be unhappy if another day and a half goes by and this is all you have to tell me.
But this is what's going to happen. You're
telling me
it's going to get brushed off. It's going to get brushed off because nobody died. Nobody got injured. So watch this. This is going to be a one-day news. You're not going to hear about it again. I'm telling you right now, there's too much other stuff going on. Do not expect to hear anything else other than what you heard tonight.
We need to know who this person is. This was a pilot of this company, an airline authorized. You saw the word authorized airline pilot.
Sandy.
Okay.
We have a lot more to cover, but also want to tell you, we don't even know if this really happened. Thank you for that super chat, Audrey.
Yes,
thank you. Oh,
that is amazing. Wow.
I got to shout out right there. Woo! Audrey, look at you, Audrey.
Audrey, you're going to keep this television show on the air for another season.
That was a blessing.
That's
right
awesome.
There. All right, Sandy, look, I know you all fired up about the pilot and all that.
A little fired up.
But we got to move on.
I have had a little caffeine. Yeah. Just saying.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but you said it.
And I did come equipped tonight with this
Wide Awake,
wonderful, beautiful Wide Awake, my probably favorite caramel flavor. Thank you, Marlon.
Yes. So look, let's get into what everybody's thinking about. Of course, Israel is everywhere, and it should be because this is the center of the world's attention. Fighting has now erupted on multiple fronts as Israel braces for a war of national survival. Now listen, this is big. Now it's one thing for people that are not Jewish and living in Israel, an Israeli of nature, and an actual native Jewish person. You know, you read about this and you care about it. Christians in the church care about it. But if you're living there, this is a fight for survival. It's becoming clear that Israel is going to have to battle enemies on multiple fronts, and that means that this war is going to look a whole lot different than a lot of people thought it would. If the fighting could have been confined to just Israel and Hamas, there still would be a lot of death and destruction, but everyone knows that Hamas is no match for the IDF. But if Hezbollah, Syria, Iran, and
Paint the picture.
And the Palestinians in the West Bank all jump into the conflict, all of a sudden this becomes a war of national survival for Israel. And in such a scenario, it is much more likely than weapons of mass destruction will be used. So it should deeply alarm all of us that fighting has now erupted on multiple fronts. So I want to go back to this right here, and this is not a maybe. This is everybody that we know and trust that are on the ground there in Israel is saying it's a matter of when. Yeah. Hezbollah is going to come in to this fight, which is going to pull Iran in. And then, of course, you have Syria, which Syria is backed by Russia. And, of course, Hezbollah is backed by Iran. We've been talking about it every single week here on this show.
Right.
When you pull Iran in, Iran has nuclear weapons. They're not going to have nuclear weapons. They have nuclear weapons. They're the largest manufacturer of military drones in the world. You have Russia, who has nuclear capabilities. Yes. And now you have all of America's battleships, the largest battleship in the world.
With a third American whatever on the way now.
On the way. Not in China. There's a lot already in China. But the largest battleship in the world is on the outskirts of the Middle East. Why would you do that just as a scare tactic? I'm sorry. I don't buy that that's just a scare tactic. They know something's coming.
So I want to pause here for a moment. Okay, what you said, yes. And China has already sent how many to the region?
Yeah, they've moved multiple carriers
12,
themselves.
10, 12?
Yes, China.
Yeah,
has moved in the same area.
I'm sure we'll be talking about that, but just sidebar, little note for everyone, if you didn't know that's happening. But let's just pause and talk for just a moment about Iran.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an ancient place, culture, society. Sure, they have their own money, finance, backing, whatever. How did they get so technologically savvy and sophisticated? Was this partly of their own doing? Was it totally Russia coming in? And I mean, they're very sophisticated in, you just talked about drones.
Yeah. Thank you for that super chat,
yes,
Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany, for that. How do they get to where they are?
Yeah.
I know that just because you're an ancient culture doesn't mean that you stay uneducated or unsophisticated.
Yeah.
But is part...
It's a ruse.
How much of their advancement is because of Russia?
A lot of it is because of Russia, but a lot of it is actually because of just Iran. I believe that you go all the way back into the 70s and the 80s and all the way up to where we're at now. It was a part of the master plan to paint Iran and Iraq, but especially Iran, as this ancient, backwards, medieval, third world country. But they have all the money of all that oil and all of that there. I believe they were in partnership with Russia back then. There's a lot of people that will confirm that.
I believe the money was there. The natural resource was there, which meant more money could continue flowing, and they could have just purchased what they wanted to advance themselves.
Yeah, and I got a very interesting
Russia embed themselves to some degree, or is there something even more sinister?
That's where I'm going.
Okay, go ahead.
So this is what I've talked about on Pastor Paul Begley's latest webinar on the Road to Revelation. I was assigned Revelation chapter 18. Well, that I showed the people that's watched the webinar have seen it, that everything that's happening in Iran and Iraq, which was Persia, was where the region of the Tower of Babel was.
Yes.
Which became Babylon. And that is, of course, a system that will be in place at the very end. So I believe that you have the combination of Russia and all of this, the money and the technology, but I also believe that there is some spiritual impact in that area that was bringing, and I don't want to talk too much about it because we've got too much to cover, but some ancient technology, some ancient wisdom, and some demon spirits that are operating there.
I thoroughly believe that they are pulling from ancient technology and ancient weaponry. But where I'm going is this. Was there a movement? Was there, I'm sure many of you out there have heard ISIS was a creation of the CIA.
No.
The United States of America, CIA. Now,
Just
I don't know.
Theory.
I don't know if that's true or not. But we all know about the technological and the mental and the political, all the realms that came out of Russia, Germany, and even our own country in decades past to have systems of control and influence. Did something of that nature also seep into Iran, along with these ancient spiritual strongholds, the having money, having resources, and were they, I mean, I know this is like a whole big circle of, woo-woo, but
we need your hat. We need your hat.
Where's my hat? Go get my hat. But to me, it just seems like it feels a lot like Nazi era.
Okay. All right. This is a perfect time for me to let everybody know about, if you're watching this live, if you're watching on replay, then it should already be available. But tomorrow night, we're going to have a show like we've never had before. And this, because I got to ask the question.
Oh, yes.
Have the portals open.
Goodness.
Have the portals open. Now, if you don't know who Tony Merkel is from the Confessional Podcast.
So cool.
Let me just tell you something. This dude is the real deal. He is, let me just go ahead and tell you, he's a man of God. Mm-hmm. He's a true man of God. He's not just somebody, I believe in a God. No, he's Spirit-filled, Holy Ghost man of God. But he leads a podcast that deals with the supernatural, what we're talking about. And that we did a show with him called Are the Portals Open? I just want to play a little preview clip.
Would you please?
Dog Man. is a werewolf a real thing? And then right in the middle of that is, okay, here we go, y'all. This is Tony talking, not me. Y'all send all comments to Merkel.media. Is Bigfoot real? These are all one question, so answer that for me if you don't mind.
Yeah, they are real. They are real. I've never seen them, but I believe that they are real from the sheer amount of people I've talked to. Not everybody can be lying to me or just crazy or misidentifying a bear or a dog. You know, like some of these stories, maybe you could, I saw it across the field and I think I saw kind of thing. But some of these are up close and personal. And it's just the sheer amount of people claiming these things, not even just on my show. There is something going on that people are experiencing. Now, what it is, we could all debate. What it is, we can have our own opinions on. But to say that, no, it's not possibly real, at this point, it doesn't make sense in my mind. It tells me that, if you're saying that, it really is kind of like you're running just from the conversation to just say something like that, because it's way too complicated to just say, no, it's not real. Now, what is it? I come from a very, very, very many different viewpoints. I have a little bit of everything. I'm the kind of person, especially since God hasn't told me what it is, and I haven't experienced it for myself. I hear different theories and like, maybe, So like, and I'm laid back about it. There's no ego with me with this stuff. I don't care to have an ego. But I will say that when it comes to Dogman or werewolf, it is real. And it depends on who you talk to and what you're talking about on how this conversation goes. There was a guy in Florida who saw an upright walking dog outside his home. Oh my God. He goes on Facebook, he comments about it. He might even post
the video
pictures of where he saw it, and people were commenting on his posts about it. And so he goes on Facebook Live. This is a live stream on Facebook through his phone. And he's walking around his house showing people outside where this happened. And about 3 or 4 minutes into the stream, he is outside his door pointing at it like a street light with light shining down. And all of a sudden he said, this is where I saw it. And then you see something extremely large on 2 legs run underneath the street light, extremely flat.
I watched the video.
And when you still frame it, you don't even have to still frame it. But when you look at this footage, this creature is translucent. It is not a physical, 100% physical creature. You can see parts of it physically, and there's other parts of it you are actually seeing through.
If the church doesn't know that this is winding down, the devil does. And I believe he's coming out of hiding. It's like he just realizes this is my last shot to bring everything I got to this world. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we're living in times where we're going to see the overflow of the supernatural realm into this realm.
Wow. That is just a clip. Listen to me, of a 1 hour and 17 minute breakdown of the supernatural, the paranormal, and how the Christian should view that.
Did he say Bigfoot, Saskatchewan, and Dogman are both in the classification of cryptids? I can't remember if you said that or not.
Moving on. I'm not giving away the show, Sandy. Okay. They've got to watch the show, and you haven't seen the show.
I haven't seen the entire show.
You're going to have to watch the show too. You're going to have to watch the show.
Super excited. And CJ, yes, I've got you covered in the tinfoil arena. Right. Don't you worry, and all of you others.
Hey, I got it. We need to sell them. Put them in the merchandise store.
They're talking about somebody wants a blue one, somebody wants a black one because it's slimming.
They don't make that in tinfoil.
No, they're going to paint them.
Okay. Israeli army unleashes game-changing, listen to this, weapon that neutralizes threats. I believe we're about to see a lot of new weapons that's been in play that we didn't know anything about. Israeli forces released footage of the Iron Sting. Now, they got the Iron Dome. We showed you last week the Iron Beam. Now they got the Iron Sting. Iron Sting system launching a mortar bomb to take out a rocket launcher in its first ever use in operation on Sunday. The Iron Sting, described as an innovative and accurate mortar bomb, is one of a variety of weapons being used to thwart dozens of terrorists. The Israeli Air Force posted on X, along with a video it said showed the 120 millimeter mortar decimating an enemy rocket launcher. The Israeli army used the weapon system in conjunction with the Israeli Air Force. The weapon system used a precise laser and GPS-guided mortar munition to engage targets in dense urban environments while reducing the possibility of collateral damage and preventing injury to non-combatants. So we see that its operational use will revolutionize ground warfare and equip battalions with organic, accurate, and effective firepower. So the Iron Sting is fulfilling the IDF's needs, adapting combat capabilities to contend with enemies hidden within the civilian population, and that's exactly what Hamas has done.
Yes.
They're the masters of propaganda. You see how the world just jumped on this that Israel had bombed the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, number one, it wasn't Israel. Number two, the hospital. I don't even know if y'all know this. The hospital wasn't even bombed. It was the parking lot. And it was their own missile that they jumped on immediately, and that's why they put their terrorists in that hospital to protect. They're using people as human shields.
So
it's demonic.
They are embedded underneath the hospital, under or near the mosque, in the middle of the communities. Of course, there are tunnels. They said they have an elaborate tunnel system. I'm sure they do, and they certainly put that to use on October the 7th. So.
Yeah. Well, I saw today on the news that they're beginning to what do they call those? The ground penetrating bombs that are taking out the tunnels. And they said that this is.
Well, they said they were taking certain buildings down so they would have full access to this tunnel system, right?
Yeah. And they're now believing that 75 to 80% of the terrorists are hiding underground. I mean, that's unbelievable. They have spent since 2005.
You would think they would, go in the deepest hole they can find because they know their days are numbered.
Yep. And you keep hearing, and we're going to get to it in just a minute, that there's pressure for them to hold off, and it's sort of looking, since it's taking a little while.
Oh, you mean from our country?
From our country, to leading the way. And it sort of looks like that, maybe it's not going to be like what they said.
Well,
I still believe it's going to be.
All that's under the guise of, with the hostages in mind. But this technology possibly being brought forth at this time, you have to wonder, because they're not going to show their hand on certain things that they have until it's absolutely the moment, because you don't want to reveal exactly what you have until it's for sure time to do so. You don't want to show your hand too soon. Yeah,
and I want to say this too, that I believe, my personal opinion is part of it is that they're strategizing how they're going to respond to Hezbollah, because I believe the moment they go in with the ground forces, Hezbollah is going to try to attack them from the north.
I was looking earlier.
And that's the next article.
And I think Hezbollah was founded, organized, or whatever you want to say, in 1982. And this happened, according to online, as a result of the Lebanon civil war. And they were a militia. And after the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982, they supposedly emerged. Of course, they're backed and trained a lot, funded a lot by Syria.
And Iran.
And Iran,
Iran, yes.
And I think Hezbollah means party of God. So
wow.
Found that to be interesting.
That is very interesting. Israel vows to cut off the head of the snake and launch a military attack against Iran if Hezbollah joins the war with Hamas. Listen to the words that I'm saying to you.
Yes.
This is what we mean by World War III. Israel last night vowed to cut off the head of the snake. What do they mean by that? Here it is. Launch a military attack against Iran if the Tehran-backed terror group Hezbollah joins the war. An exclusive interview with the Mail on Sunday, Nir Barkat, Israel's Minister of Economy, warned that Iran's ayatollahs will be wiped off the face of the earth should Hezbollah, their proxy terror group in Lebanon, attack Israel. His incendiary comments raised the grave specter of rapidly escalating regional conflict and coming ahead of an expected Israeli ground invasion of the Gaza Strip to annihilate Hamas. Tens of thousands of Israeli soldiers are in position at the border of the territory where Hamas, which is also backed by Iran, is holding around 200 hostages from October 7th. Well, here's what's being said. At first, it was saying 100,000. Now people are confirming a minimum of 250,000 missiles that Hezbollah has. of which, Sandy, 100,000 is believed to be precise tracking missiles. That they now have the technology in Hezbollah in the north to hit any target all the way down to the southern tip of Israel. Any place in Israel they can be hit. So what Israel is saying, Hezbollah, you're talking a lot of talk, but you enter this battle, yeah, we'll deal with you. But this is what should alarm everyone. Netanyahu says, while we're dealing with you, Hezbollah, we're just going to go ahead and deal with Tehran. And let me tell you, thank you for that super chat, Kevin.
Yes,
appreciate that so much. Here's the reality. When they deal with Tehran and Iran, then comes Russia.
Exactly.
Then comes China.
Exactly.
That's what we're trying to tell you is coming.
And look how, I don't know if you have access, anybody can pull up a map. I don't know how many miles this is from tiny Israel all the way over to Iran. But this entire region, it's crazy to me. We've talked about, everybody's known this most of your life, tiny Israel against the world. When you lay a map down and you start talking about these other countries and people, and then you start talking about all these weapons and bombs and missiles in the tens and hundreds of thousands all pointed towards tiny Israel. This is insanity to me.
It is.
And these people are so angry and they have so much hatred in their hearts and in their minds. It seems like you could just light a match and that entire place would just go up.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely a tinderbox. And the reality is this. We want to say this again. We try to always say this, whether we're talking about China, whether we're talking about Russia, whether we're talking about the Palestinians. We understand that there are innocent people involved here.
Yes.
We understand that there is multiple people that are dying that had nothing to do with this.
Yes.
But let's just be real. This is not us trying to be brass, whatever. But that's what war is. That's why we need the peace speaker. That's why the only time war is ever going to stop is when Jesus comes back. But until Jesus comes back, when you're in a war, we have a responsibility on this show to tell you the truth about what is happening. This is a response to what was done to Israel.
Yes.
Just like when 9/11 happened to us, we responded. And when, most of the time, not all the time, because there are exceptions where there are tyrants that are the aggressors that go into a country. But most of the time the country gets involved in war, it's because they were pulled into it because of an attack that came on their people and on their nation. And the reality is this, we are not against the Palestinian people in Hamas. In Gaza. Hamas is the terrorist organization. But listen, I'm not trying to justify the death of innocent civilians, but the reality is this. Since 2005, when the Israelis pulled out, they were given full autonomy. And the Palestinian people voted Hamas to be their government and to lead them. So here's the thing, Sam, we'll say one more thing. Mm-hmm. When they breached that wall and they went in on October 7th, do you know that it's now being reported that listen, you want to talk about a coward? All of the Hamas commanders remained in Gaza.
What?
None of them went into Israel. They sent their Hamas terrorists and they started with loudspeakers telling the people to grab hatchets, to grab machetes, to grab hammers, go into the kibbutz and do whatever you want to do. And the coward people that organized all of this stood back in safety on their side while these people went across and done some of the things. And today, I don't know if you heard this, these reporters that are spouting out things against Israel, do you know what Israel did? Israel said, okay, while I got you all here, let me show you the video from the GoPros. And for 45 minutes, they rolled video that I'm not even going to describe on this show.
Exactly.
So bad that the reporters started raising their hands and saying, please turn it off. Please turn it off.
I'm sure they did.
That's what we're dealing with.
Why did they have it? Because they filmed everything as it happened, and they were able to retrieve these cameras and this footage off of their dead bodies.
Exactly.
Or, if it was already uploaded or whatever, went out and retrieved it, offline. But let's just talk for just a moment. You talked about war is terrible. People die. Yes, that is true. But these evil factions also love to use the innocents as pawns.
Yeah.
They don't mind putting them out there and letting them get killed. Here's Ant-Man. Hey guys, he threatened to come in and bust in on the studio. He actually did it. So,
Love you guys.
love you, man.
Love you, buddy.
Awesome. But use them as pawns, and they don't mind doing it.
Look, and I see it in the live chat. We'll go back and read it. I see a bunch of debate in there. I see people coming against Israel saying things that pro-Palestinians. Look, you're welcome to get in here, but let me tell you something. If you get in here and you start denying what happened, you start trying to insinuate that Israel has no right to exist, you'll be gone. Okay, right. on this channel, you'll be gone. If you start saying that, now you have the right to say pro-Palestinian anything you want to, but you start bringing in Israel has no right to exist, that they need to be wiped off the face of the earth, that Israel has no right to exist, you will not be tolerated
and
here.
Let's touch on one other thing.
Other than that, I want our admins to know I don't mind a healthy
We're up
debate
for a
here,
lively debate.
But you don't start saying that Israel has no right to exist, or you'll be gone.
So this occurred on the 7th. Israel could have immediately done something.
Yeah.
But tomorrow will be the 24th. And they started out many days ago warning them to go ahead and leave.
They could have already leveled it.
Leave the area.
Yes.
Innocent people, get out of the area for your safety. And now, tomorrow is the 24th.
Think about it.
And I do believe a big old attack is coming.
Yeah.
But these people, whoever they are, have had time to move.
Yep.
Even Israelis in the northern part of the state, of the country, how many Israelis have been moved and evacuated out of areas?
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they have to move as well.
Yeah.
But they knew we got to get up and we got to go. We got to find somewhere safe. And I don't even know where that is. This is already a tiny country. It's not like these other surrounding countries are opening their arms to receive the Israelis in. And I know we're trying to move the Palestinians into Egypt, who quite frankly have said they didn't want them. Yeah. So I don't know what happens there.
I'm going to say one more thing, because I want to make sure everybody understands where I'm coming from, okay? I'm going to say this, and you need to hear me. The only reason that innocent people are dying in Gaza is because the demonic Hamas has positioned their generals and their missiles in the middle of communities next to schools and next to hospitals. So if that is why they're being targeted, there are not innocent civilians being targeted by Israel. Innocent civilians are being told. Do you understand? They're even being told you can't leave.
Yeah.
They're blocking. We have drone footage of them blocking the roads, not allowing their people to leave.
Taking people's IDs, taking their phones, possibly taking their car keys to prevent them from evacuating and getting out of the area. Well, again, tomorrow's the 24th. How many days have gone by to give people an opportunity to move out of the way?
Yeah. All right.
So here we are.
So here we go. Let's move on. Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and is that supposed to be ISIS? Call on followers to strike.
It's Islamic State.
Islamic State.
IS
Okay.
Islamic State.
Okay, got you. Al-Qaeda and Islamic State call on followers to strike Israeli, U.S., and Jewish targets. It goes on to say Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have called on their followers to strike Israeli, U.S., and Jewish targets, raising the prospect of new terrorist violence in the Middle East and the West. In a series of statements over the past 2 weeks, affiliates of Al-Qaeda congratulated Hamas on its, quote, invasion of Israel, a reference to the terrorists that killed 1,400 people, many civilians, on October 7th. The Israeli military offensive in Gaza, which caused a humanitarian crisis, so far has killed over 4,500 people, according to medical authorities in the Hamas-controlled territory, has provoked outrage around the Islamic world. We have said it once, we will say it again. We do not want to see Muslims killed, Christians killed, Jewish killed, human beings killed. No. We don't want to see anybody killed. We are reporting to you what is going on. As Sandy said, go look at a map. Look at every Muslim nation that most all of them do not even think Israel has a right to exist and would rather see them wiped off the map. And then look how many friends of Israel are around them. Yeah. There's none None.
How about this? How about
Not
even
a one.
in their own country, how much of the western border, we know the bottom portion was given to Palestine, and then up above that, even in their own country, they're squeezed in because they have a portion of that, the West Coast.
Exactly.
And can you imagine a people trying to carve out a life for themselves?
Somebody said the other day, they like, are you like me? Did you spend most of your childhood thinking, how in the world did Germany ever buy into the vision of Hitler? How could that could never happen again? Do you understand that within a week to 10 days, the whole world is turning against the Jewish people already? Even in the allies of Israel, they're in this country,
in New York.
They're marching by the tens of thousands.
Yes.
They're calling it pro-Palestinian rallies, but it's really not about Palestine. It's about Israel. It's about Jewish people. It's about stop them. They have no right to be there. They're occupiers. All of this, and incendiary things are being asked to do to Israeli people. And I'm telling you, the same demons, I'm telling you, I'm a pastor. Don't forget, I'm reporting the news, but I'm a pastor. And I know that the same demons that were around during Haman's day, that was around during Hitler's day, are the same demons that are here today. And the Bible tells us that there'll come a time called the Battle of Armageddon where every nation in the world will turn on Israel. And God will come back and defend them and end it.
Hey, we were on that hill looking down towards that valley.
Yes.
And it was very humbling.
It was. When you stood there and saw that valley,
yeah,
and you started picturing thousands and thousands and thousands of soldiers pointing their guns towards heaven. Let me tell you something. You can mock the Word of God. You can mock it all you want to as a nursery rhyme, whatever. Okay, it's time for you to go back and read the Bible again. Because if you go back and read the Bible again, not the Bible that you stopped reading 30 and 40 years ago, that you done forgot what's in there and that you've made fun of all these years, guess what? It's like reading the headlines. Whew. It is absolutely confirming itself on a weekly basis.
It's so weird to me to know we were there 8 months ago and everything is completely different. Like Amir Sephardi has said so many times, there's not one Israeli who feels the same way today.
That's right. It's a different
as
Israel.
They did before October the 7th.
Yeah, he was almost crying when he was saying that.
These millennials, sure, you're grown up and you hear certain things, but maybe you had no personal concept of what your grandparents, great-grandparents, or parents even went through and dealt with. You're enjoying this modern society because there are so many modern conveniences in the country of Israel. And you're going about your life with your technology and hanging out in your social media and just doing life. And then all of a sudden, just like this,
just like that,
your life has changed. Your whole concept and perception of what your day-to-day life looks like.
I was surprised.
It's changed.
I was surprised when he said that he did not even own a gun. Yeah. And
that's because of how hard it is.
Yeah. Well, he was saying, he told people,
because how comfortable he was?
Said, I felt safe. He said citizens like me felt safe because
and that's
everywhere
what
you
I'm
turn,
getting at.
Yeah,
not necessarily laziness, but just relaxing into what they thought was, their new modern way of life.
Yep. That's
now,
right.
no longer can you think that way or live that way.
Exactly.
But it is very hard to have your own personal weapon for protection because of all the hoops that they had to jump through. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to be relaxed.
It has been relaxed.
I hope it's totally been changed to help these people to arm themselves.
Some of the cities in Israel are arming their citizens.
Good.
Okay, so speaking of the Bible that we were talking about a while ago, if you really want to get into some in-depth Bible study, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock right here, live on YouTube and Facebook, I do a Bible study, and a lot of people has been tuning in that Bible study, saying it's just really growing because people are hungry. Yes. What is God's Word saying about this time?
Yes.
Well, let's get back in the news, and I don't even know what to comment on this. I'm gonna be very careful in my comments.
Please
which
walk
by the way,
very lightly.
Yeah,
here.
Thank you, Ricky, by the way, for your hard work with End Time Headlines. My great friend. I'm gonna be on his show, by the way, next week, I think, or maybe this week or next week. I'm not sure, but be looking for that. I'm gonna be a guest on his show. Biden administration warns that U.S. won't hesitate to enter Israeli-Hamas war if red line is crossed. The United States is poised to get involved in the Israeli-Hamas war should the conflict escalate into regional forces intentionally targeting American personnel. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, boy, he's something. I almost okay. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said Sunday that the U.S. expects Iranian proxies to seek opportunities to escalate the Israeli-Hamas war and asserted that the Biden administration is prepared to respond accordingly if American civilians or armed forces become targets. This is not what we want, not what we're looking for, but we don't want escalation. We don't want to see our forces and our personnel come under fire, but if that happens, we're ready for it. And let me just rapid fire go right to this next one because this flows right through it. Over 12,000 U.S. troops. Listen, we were alarmed when we sent 3,000 a few weeks ago to Europe. Now we've admitted, this is just what we've admitted to, over 12,000 U.S. troops head towards the Middle East on 10 warships. Are you hearing what I'm reading? As tensions equate to World War III levels in the Middle East, over 12,000 U.S. Navy and Marine Corps personnel aboard 10 warships are heading towards the Middle East. They already had 2 there already. Over the weekend, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin announced a series of actions to bolster the U.S. military presence in the Middle East. The USS Dwight D. Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group has been redirected to the Central Command Area and Responsibility in addition to the Navy's most advanced nuclear aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, which is currently already positioned in the Eastern Mediterranean Sea. The Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group now joins the Gerald Ford Group, bringing the number of American warships in the region to 10 warships. On board the Dwight Eisenhower aircraft is 5,000 service members, further ships carrying another 1,000 troops. 2,000 forces are on standby, ready to be deployed.
How many?
2,000. 2,000 ready to be deployed. The forces will now be ready to be deployed to the Eastern Mediterranean within 24 hours. I go back, Sandy, to what I was told in my video that I made called War in China with China in 2024. I was told back several months ago by someone very connected, off the record and anonymously, that the soldiers are being told, prepare for war, a world war, prepare for war with China. Now we have this with the Middle East going on. And the largest, back in July, this was July, Sandy. July.
I was just sitting here thinking, what month was that?
It was July.
A whopping 3 months ago. Okay.
They were saying they were beginning the largest movement of military assets in our lifetime. We're already on the move then. And now this, and now, so it's like, I started thinking about the location. I was like, how did the Ford get there so quick on the other side of the world? Because they had already been moved.
Oh, boy.
They were already on the other side of the world. So they were already getting ready for China. Now, think about this. Military assets that are getting ready to fight China are being pulled to the Middle East, and China is bringing military assets to the Middle East.
Yes, they are. Or that's what's reported anyway.
What in the world is about to happen?
Exactly. I mean, several phrases that you read in that article, the largest since, all these numbers of troops and ships. We've been talking for months about how things escalate from month to month and week to week, and we are continuing to see it.
Billy Mitchell is reminding us that right here on this show, we showed you the memo from the Air Force General. Remember that? That was even before my video that I made on China 24. We showed you a leaked memo that was confirmed where the Air Force back then, months before July, was already talking about war with China. Who knew that the war with China was possibly going to begin not in China, but in the Middle East?
Exactly.
That's why we are so fired up here, because this is not something we want to talk about, because we have to process this too, just like you. And we got to be the ones to tell you about it. But the reality is this: you're not being told this by the regular media. You're not being told the full story.
What are we going to do? What do you think if Russia begins to do the same and starts moving so many assets, ships, troops?
Yeah.
If they also move into the area, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about our country. Yeah. That's the Middle East. And it's easy to talk about things happening on the other side of the world.
Sure.
But there are reports coming out, Sandy, that terrorist groups, including Hamas, are already beginning to cross our southern border. The San Diego Field Office Intelligence Divisions of Custom and Border Protection.
That's your CBP. CBP
has warned in a memo that members of terrorist groups, namely Hamas, these are the ones we're just talking about, Hezbollah, and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, could be encountered at the porous southern border. The warning comes weeks after the Palestinian terrorist group Hamas attacked Israel, murdering 1,400 Israelis. But look what it says. This is a memo from our government that Hamas and Hezbollah could be crossing the southern border. Yes. Feds warn that they're crossing the southern border. Okay, let's look at this. Foreign fighters, quote, this is in quotes, this is from the warning. Foreign fighters motivated by ideology and mercenary soldiers of fortune may attempt to obfuscate travel to and from U.S. from countries in the Middle East through Mexico. The memo then provided patches of 3 terrorist organizations, Hamas, Hezbollah, and PIJ, that are listing of possible indicators. Those include military-aged males. Have you heard about that on this show?
Seen a lot of that.
On this show, we talk about it every week. Military gear, insignias, associations to Israel, the Palestinian terrorizes our regional affiliations, as well as undetermined return plan. So this is from the San Diego field office of our border security, are showing us insignias, showing signs of things that we should be looking for. They're just now looking for military-aged men? Have they not noticed the border?
CJ says exactly what I'm thinking. I think it should be called the gaping hole southern border, not the porous southern border.
Yeah, it's definitely the gaping. When you weld open the doors, I mean, I heard all my life of people trying to protect yourself and you weld the doors closed, but the doors in the wall that Trump built, they weld them open.
Hearing for 2 years or longer, the buses pull up to the holes in the gate to load the people and take them on their way. Some go to airplanes and go to further cities. Some get on trains. Some stay on the bus.
Well, let me tell you this. I wished I had the video. I watched the video of a guy on the border. All these military-age men were sitting there. They had already made it in. They were in a holding area now. They were in our country. He's going around the video. He's saying, what country are you coming from? Lebanon, Syria. They were all Middle East. There were probably 50 of them. They were all Middle East.
Well, gee, how'd you get here from those places?
All came across from but watch this. He went back to them and said, where are you headed? New York, Chicago, Oklahoma City, Colorado Springs. They couldn't barely speak the language, but they all spoke the city that they came here to go to. I'm talking about they start popping off every city where they're headed.
So what you're trying to say is this is a very highly coordinated operation? Is that what you're saying?
Ding, 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 ding. Yep. Wake up. Okay, let's finish this thought here. from the Epoch Times, which, by the way, if you didn't know this, I'm now a contributing author to the Epoch Times beginning this month. Starting next month, awesome. I'm going to be submitting an article. Starting next month, you can go to the Epoch Times, and once a month, you'll be able to, along with other authors, you'll be able to read a blog that I'm going to be speaking on leadership and pouring into people on the Epoch Times. So I'm very excited about that.
I think you're just what they need.
I'm sure I'm going to go through a lot of filters before I make it there. There could already be a cell in the U.S. planning the next terrorist attack. Former border commissioner says weak U.S. border security combined with America's support for Israel could trigger a new wave of domestic terror activity. Hamas terror group on Israel is having ripple effects around the world. There's that word again. And the porous U.S. borders are again in the spotlight. The same terrorists that just carried out the horrific attack in Israel, their hatred and their unwavering commitment to do harm to the United States is alive and well. Mark Morgan, who served as acting commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection of the Trump administration, told the Epoch Times, nobody in their right mind can say that our border is secure. And he goes on to talk about, particularly within the group of more than 1.6 million illegal immigrants who evaded Border Patrol upon entry and are unknown to officials. In the past 11 months, 151 people on the terror watch list have actually been arrested by Border Patrol after crossing illegally, with tens of thousands of other special interest aliens have entered and been released. Special interest means that they hail from countries with direct ties to state-sponsored terrorist groups, including Yemen, Iran, Lebanon, Egypt, and Pakistan.
Okay, well, let's touch further on this point right here. Yes. It's an ongoing problem that the border is porous, if you want to use that word. I think it's a poor choice of word to use to describe it. But what of all the people that have been here, not for 6 months, not for 1 year? I believe there are people embedded, many of them waiting to be activated, however long they've been here. Yep. If you're sent here, you can't speak the language, you don't really know anything about this place, but you can tell me that you need to go to Oklahoma City, and I give you a cell phone and a credit card, a debit card to go spend, and you go tell, what are you doing? You're just going and sitting and waiting? What are you waiting on?
Yep.
What are you waiting on?
What are you waiting on? Yeah, I think we know. But you can't report it because you can't report the truth, even in America, that's supposed to have freedom of speech. Guess what? Around the world, nations that pride themselves on free speech, United States, United Kingdom, and many others, reporters from worldwide news giants are being ordered not to use the T word for Hamas. Okay, what does that mean? A new report reveals that the Associated Press, the legacy wire service that started during the days of the old telegraph communications, has instructed its reporters not to describe the terrorists of Hamas as terrorists. We're not talking about Palestinian people. I mean, I agree. You don't call the Palestinian people terrorists, even if they voted in a terrorist organization. They said you can't call Hamas, which has been designated a terrorist organization by our country and by, which is shocking to me, the United Nations. But the Associated Press said, do not call Hamas terrorists. According to the report in the Washington Free Beacon, which reviewed Associated Press materials, the AP said, because, quote, terrorism and terrorists have become politicized and often applied inconsistently, the AP is not using the terms for specific actions or group other than in direct quotations. So you have...
I'm sorry, the longer I sit here, the more angry I get. The news, how much longer are we going to resist just putting the statement out there? They're not trying to help the situation, and they're not trying to help you. Really? We can't call a terrorist a terrorist?
Oh, let me tell you what you get to call them. This is what the Associated Press said. The Associated Press said... but instead of using the terror or terrorist description, the AP says they are militants. Terms such as Hamas fighters, attackers, or combatants are also acceptable depending on the context. So you can't call, we will not describe what they did. Go search it out for yourself. Go follow Amir Sarfati and listen to him if you can stomach it, because it will literally make you want to. I could barely make it through. I'm pretty tough when it comes to hearing things like this. I could not hear. Yeah. I could not sit and watch and listen to what he read that was described and shown to these media people today. Let me just tell you one thing, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to move on. Video of a woman almost 9 months pregnant, still alive, cut her baby out and made her watch its own video. They videoed it. She would start screaming and almost black out. They would slap her in the face and wake her up so she could watch them cut her baby out of her. That is one of the things, and you can't call that terror. This is the world we live in. This is why God called a nana and a pawpaw to do what we're doing now.
I'm not sure what we're doing. We just try to be here every Monday night. But I'll tell you this. This is what makes me really angry. This is a form of neuro-linguistic programming. When this is fed to people day after day, hour after hour on your television.
Yes.
They're painting the picture for you, and they're serving it up, and they're feeding it to us. Yes. How much longer are we going to take this? We've got to rise up and reject this and call these people to attention and let them know, no more.
No more. But I tell you what, as long as I can make it on this channel and as long as we physically can do it, we're going to show up here. And I'm going to tell you something, I'm not looking for sympathy, but it ain't always easy every Monday to put all this together and sit here and do. In fact, it's never easy.
It gets hard. Some nights are particularly tough to get through.
It is.
Yeah. I feel like we're providing a platform for people to come together.
Yep, because we are a family.
Because this entire operation is a family. You people love each other. You love to talk with each other while we're trying to offer a service to you. And like he said, it's not easy. We will pray a prayer before we leave this room tonight.
Yes, we will.
Because it gets really heavy and really thick. So, if you can pray for us and just hold us up with your prayers, we would very much appreciate it.
Thank you. So let's move away from this subject. And this right here, this article, I mean, really, really was like, okay, I was waiting for this one. I don't know if you've even seen this, Sandy. A bombshell report is now revealing a key to why so many trains are derailing, that many are believing that terrorists are involved, that they have been involved. Listen to this. Just a few months ago, the news was inundated with story after story, and we covered many of them here, of trains derailing in the United States. It got to the point where many started coming up with some pretty out there conspiracy theories to explain this constant string of train crashes. Thank you for that super chat, Charlotte.
Yes,
thank you so much. And it says, and a new arrest of a man in Ohio is only going to fan the flames of this discussion. Earlier this month, the FBI arrested Joseph Finley, 43, who is on a federal terrorist charges for allegedly jamming metal into tracks and rail lines in order to derail these trains. It says CSX train employees found metal materials jammed into the tracks and rail switches of an Ohio train line months after a near catastrophic derailment in August. During a test run for the CSX Employee Appreciation Day, a train hit an obstruction on the track and temporarily derailed it before the wheels dropped back into place. This seemingly mysterious accident quickly became a concerning issue when employees continued to find more purposely placed materials along the tracks, which matched methods taught by international terrorist groups to make a homemade derail device. The investigation led to a Cleveland man who was arrested and charged with terrorist attacks. blah, 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 blah. So we, on this show, begin to speculate and begin to think, listen, we don't know if this is a part of the Great Reset. We don't know if this is a part of, them trying to get more and more control. But this ain't just happening, okay? They ain't this many trains derailing all at one time.
Exactly.
And I think we're going to find out, too, that terrorists were probably involved. Sleeper cells were also being activated in all of the attacks on power grid substations. I think we're going to begin to see all of this stuff we started reporting on at the beginning of the big picture of us together has all been a part of something coordinated.
Yes. Oh, yes. And it's weird how definitely seemed coordinated, but how these things moved in cycles. Like, okay, we're doing the train derailments now. Okay, we're attacking the substations now. Yeah. Oh, it's time for balloons.
Yeah. Yeah. What about the balloons? We forgot about the balloons.
Forgot about the balloons.
I mean, come on. These things happen, you're right, in waves. And then I'm not saying that they're not still happening, but they must not be happening on that same level, or the media just decided, okay, we covered that one. Now let's move on to the next one.
Listen,
I don't know.
Does anyone see a theme here when we can decide to turn it up and turn it down? Because they told us, oh, no. Derailments happen they've always happened all the time.
Yeah.
We're just having more of them right now. And I believe we were. But what if they decide that we need to bring it back? Are they going to crank it back up when it's a convenient time for them?
Think about it.
Oh, remember that? Hey, Ukraine war, it's actually still going on.
It's still going on.
But they just decided to crank that one and dial that one back too.
Yeah, how long has it been since you heard CNN, Fox News, any of them talk about the Ukrainian war? Yep. That we are still sending billions of dollars to.
This is what I'm talking about.
Thank you for that super chat, Bob.
Yes, thank you. This is what I'm talking about. It's time for the average citizen to wake up and understand what is going on and get angry when they use you, when they decide to turn things up and turn them down to influence you and to lead you here and to lead you there and to make you look away from this going on because we're going to talk about this right now.
Exactly. And it might have slipped by you that in the midst of all the attack against Israel, Biden came out and said, we're going to send money to aid Israel, but we're going to tie it to the money in Ukraine. $100 billion. $100 billion.
Yeah.
The majority of that's going to Ukraine, and then some of it's going to Israel.
While our economy's doing so great, I'm still mad about them shutting my bank down.
I'm mad about it too.
In this city. While I can't, I'm very discouraged about paying prices for certain things at the store. Like you go to the grocery store and you see, how much something's increased this week and you talk yourself out of it. I'm about
to blow you mind on that one.
So, while our economy's so great,
yep.
It's getting harder and harder to live day to day in your country.
Yep. And I want to remind everybody, every Thursday we have our Kingdom Intelligence Report, and these four men come on here to comment on the news of the day. And can you imagine, this week we got Mark Carell. With all that's going on in Israel, Pastor Mark Carell is going to be on here.
We need that wisdom. Oh, Thank God for it.
He's been talking about Israel for 30 years. So he's going to be the perfect guy to have on here. But now watch this. We talk a lot about control. We talk a lot about that's what all the wham-wham was about and the coming wham-whams and all this other kind of stuff. Watch this. More and more people are talking in government about something known as the internet kill switch. Okay, so this is apparently a very real thing, and it goes. This is a long article, but I want to go down to this part right here. As American citizens, it seems to be hardwired in us not to want the government to control us in pretty much any way, and that means things like, quote, an internet kill switch in the hands of a president is very scary. It's also precisely why Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky is bringing attention to and opposing, nobody knew this law was still existing, a 1930s law that does just that. Rand Paul brought it all up in a recent interview on a podcast by Dr. Scott Atlas, which you can hear the first video at the bottom of this story. He noted that, like most control-seeking laws, this one was put in place to be used in a very rare and serious situation, like an emergency or national crisis. But as Paul points out, the wham-wham prove just how easily most of these emergency powers can be abused.
Come on.
For example, this law from the 1930s gives the CDC from the 1930s, the CDC emergency power. When I read this, that Rand Paul is revealing this to us and reminding us that there's a 1930s law that gives the CDC emergency powers, I immediately thought about the treaty that they're trying to sign right now.
Oh, yes.
That solidifies that power.
Come on.
It says,
good point.
Emergency powers do, quote, this and this for certain diseases, quarantine, and then it had a clause in it, in this 1930s law, for, quote, whatever else is necessary.
Whatever else is necessary.
It's in the 1930s law that gives the CDC emergency power.
Is that carte blanche?
Carte blanche power, yes. And what Rand Paul is saying, what no one could have known in the 1930s is that we would be such an internet-based world where all of our information comes and goes on that system, that if people started getting out like this show, exposing lies and exposing and telling the truth, all they got to do is engage in a 1930s law and say that that's unhealthy, that information is false information, fact check us and flip the switch on us, because it's been on the books since 1930s.
Alicia seeing ads. What's up? Goodness.
I don't know why you're seeing ads. That ain't me. That ain't me. That ain't me. So I don't know. We had that whole issue the last time.
Hey, Brother Bob, glad to have you back.
Yep. Good. Welcome back to America. Well, he didn't leave America. He just left the mainland. He went to Hawaii. But what do you think about that? I mean, an internet kill switch.
I think it stinks. I hate it. I'm sick of all this.
Well, all righty then. Let's move right along, because we don't want them to flip the internet kill switch on us.
You know, how many years ago has it been since we gave some level or sort of control to China, that whole ECAMM thing? Remember that? During the Obama administration?
Are you talking about the ownership of the internet? The ownership of the internet used to be in America, but we signed it over to a global organization to where all internet domain. At one point, all internet domains were registered and owned, and the internet itself basically had to come through America. But then Obama signed that off and said, "How dare we be so arrogant to believe that we could own the internet?"
And listen, I'm sure the mere thought of that, the internet being turned off or whatever, scares and bothers so many people. But here's the thing. I could fully see them temporarily turning it off, but guess what? A big part of the system of control is having that access.
Yeah, so they can program you.
So we can not just be programmed, but tracked and ultimately controlled. So if it were to be turned off, that'd have to be a temporary thing.
But
it may come back on as a different system.
They have the technology saying not to just turn the internet off. They can turn your internet off.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
That.
Everything's programmable. You know, that's my favorite word. Everything's programmable. So your internet has a GPS location in it. That's one of the reasons they sent that test out, to make sure it all works, so that they could quickly identify where everybody's at, so they could turn off and turn on your internet. 10-4. So in other words,
10-4, message received.
Exactly, 10-4. So it's like the people that's promoting their message, their internet won't get turned off.
Yep.
But will get turned off.
Yep. Let me just say, bingo.
Only a select few know what that's. Thank you for that super chat,
Thanks.
DRW.
Nice.
Woohoo! All right, so let's quickly rapid fire, and then we got to get Uncle Jimmy in here. Uncle Jimmy's on his way. What do more quakes at one of California's riskiest volcanoes mean? Scientists think they know. Have you heard about this?
I've not heard this.
One of California's riskiest volcanoes has for decades been undergoing geological challenges and seismic activity, which are sometimes a precursor to an eruption. But thankfully, no supervolcanic eruptions are expected. They go on to say that, according to the researchers, the Long Valley caldera, which includes the Mammoth Lakes area in Mono County, the caldera was classified in 2018 by the U.S. Geological Survey as one of the 3 volcanoes in the state, along with 15 elsewhere in the U.S., are considered a very high threat, the highest risk category defined by the agency. So how about this?
What part of California did you say that was in?
It's in Mono County, Mammoth Lakes area. It must be Shasta. I say Shasta. I always think there's Mount Shasta. I've been to Mount Shasta Lake years and years ago. The two other volcanoes in California are Mount Shasta, which was amazing to be on the lake and look up there and see that volcano, which includes Lyson Peak, and the threat assessment is not a list of blah, blah, blah. So
some of these lakes are volcanic craters.
Yeah, calderas. So I want to throw that in there to tell you that, hey, while everything else is going on, don't forget we got volcanoes. And there's seismic activity happening in volcanoes. Now, Sadie, should I play a little bit of this video? Because one of the things, I want to go back to this right here. One of the things that this Thursday night, if you're watching this live, you need to be looking for this show. Have the portals open with Tony Merkel, the host of the Confessional Podcast. Yep. And one of the things that we talk about is super soldiers. And let me tell you one of the things.
You talk about super soldiers?
We talked about super soldiers. I asked him about.
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. I asked him, I said, has the military been working on super soldiers? You know what he said? I'm giving too much of the show away because y'all need to watch it. But he said, I love Marvel, but Marvel movies have been nothing but copies and ripoffs of what has really been going on. Now, he wasn't insinuating that people have the ability to fly on their own without assistance.
Are you talking about Captain America?
Talking about Captain America.
Who's that dark guy that experimented on him and all that kind of stuff?
Oh, Red Skull. He ended up being Red Skull, but I want to show you a little bit of this video here. This is, what do you call these, dumbs?
Dumbs.
Okay.
Deep underground military bases. Dumbs.
This right here, I might get flagged on this because this is from, got a thumbs down. Somebody got mad. But, watch it. Hang on.
Is that Cheyenne?
Right now, there are 131 active deep underground
I told you that years ago.
In the United States. There's 1,477 of them worldwide.
What?
Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. Each one is built in the site. It used to be it'd take a year to 2 years to build each one, and now they're capable of building a couple of them a year with sophisticated methods. My colleague Al Bielek has actually been on some of the high-speed
nuclear-powered boring
railways,
machines,
the magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases
maglev
within the
train
United States.
system
He's
running
been on a
across
Mach
the
2
country
train,
underground,
floats
connecting
off
all
a single
these.
rail at a 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and is
high speed.
what you call high tech. We have nothing like this on the surface.
No.
Groom Lake is where the infamous Area 51, S4, S2, a CIA base.
Paradise Ranch, Groom Lake.
It was originally a bombing range, a nuclear test site. It was later become the most secret base in the United States. It employs over 18,000 workers who work in shifts at 12 hours at a whack. Most of them work in the cover of darkness, like us. We built out 9 underground military bases there, each with an average capacity capable of basically a city underground, roughly 4.25 cubic miles hollowed out underground. They have boring machines, for instance. They don't bore, they literally vitrify and melt the rock.
Nuclear-powered boring machines.
It's a very sophisticated laser.
Yep.
Melting
Turns
and
rock to
deflagrating
glass.
system. Reduces the rock to a powder and then melts the remaining rock as a coating on the inside of the base, so you don't have to use gunite, cements, and other kinds of things like that. That's all old hat now. Technology is just basically the new technology we get is the old hat of the military. Anyway, after we drilled all 4 holes, it's about 2 days to drill.
So I just want to tell you that that's just another thing that nobody talks about that's going on. Even Elon Musk, he has a company called the Boring Company, and that was probably distraction against what was already in place. But what I'm saying is,
Yes, Billy Mitchell.
why are they still building these bases? Why are there new bases being built 2 a year? Why are they being active? Why are these thousands of people sworn to secrecy, their lives threatened? What are they doing down there? What is down there?
Well, I want to ask the question, did any of you get your ticket to ride the special train to the underground cities?
Why don't we have those special trains up here?
Here's another thing. All of these food recalls, and there have been many over the last 2 to 3 years, is this food really being actually recalled, or is it being gathered and stored for these underground cities? Because they are very high tech, as you heard. These are not just bunkers. These are actual cities where people can dwell, where people have already been down there working and occupying and maintaining all of these systems.
Yep. Anybody?
Crickets.
Anybody? That's what our government sounds like. That's what our media sounds like.
And while we offer no kind of protection like this for our citizenry, Russia can put tens of millions of people into their caves and undergrounds for protection. Even China.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Billy Mitchell. Our whole life is a lie. What that means is everything that we believed about everything is not always what we believed. Now, our life as believers is not a lie.
No.
We know who we are in God.
Yeah.
I've said all the time the most powerful force in the world is the Holy Spirit, and the second most powerful force in the world is a man or woman who knows who they are in God. Okay? And you better know who you are in God, where we're going right now. Well, here's the good news for all you people that celebrate Halloween. We don't celebrate Halloween, but if you do, here's some good news for you. Bidenflation. Biden economy. What does he call it? Bidenomics? Bidenomics. Oh, wait a minute. Bidenflation. Cost of candy is up 13% this year.
I was about to say, the article is saying candy's up 13%.
Yeah. I was being facetious when I said good news.
So obviously a great time to start that diet.
13%. That's a lot of money.
That's a big jump at one time.
But yet the stores are full of candy.
They are.
I mean, let me tell you something. The world economies, they love Halloween. They got to sell more candy at Halloween than any other time of year.
They sell a lot of everything.
Everything, yeah.
This time of year. I'm talking about if you go to the big box store.
Yeah.
There are 12-foot tall Halloween creatures, Grim Reapers, and skeletons that play saxophones.
Gigantic demons that's bigger than your house. They're amazing. Taller than your house. It's your kid. I got to move on.
It is a multi-billion
I got stuff I can say
dollar, if you want to call it holiday, for the family supposedly to enjoy together.
Well, let's talk real quick about the economy. Then we're going to bring Uncle Jimmy in here. One of the this is a shocking article right here. I mean, new homeowners will not see a profit for over a decade.
Yes.
Look at this. Look at this.
Heard Jeremiah talking about that last night. It's crazy.
Look at the assuming a 30-year loan at basically 7.5%, and purchase price of $376,000. What's this? It says it would take up to 13 and a half years in this economy to break even on your purchase, per Zillow data exclusively shared with Axios. Why it matters, you'll have to stay in your house for more than a decade before you can sell it and make a profit. This we keep being told everything's going good. Nothing is going good.
No. So
nothing.
I think in that same video, I was listening to Jeremiah talk about this housing and home situation, that he said by 2030, BlackRock is estimated to own 60-something% of all residential.
Think about that. Yeah, that's true. I've heard that. Yeah. And when they're buying up like crazy.
Exactly.
As people are going into foreclosures, people are losing their houses. Here they come to save the day. They're buying up everything. Why? Because they want to rent. Remember what Klaus Schwab said, World Economic Forum.
Rent everything. Everything
will be rented. You will own nothing, and you'll be happy about it.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, CJ's asking $376,000 for the average house. Well, that's averaging with them California houses out there. Have y'all ever watched HGTV?
Yeah.
So-and-so, he drives a school bus, and so-and-so, and she's a stay-at-home mom. Their budget is $1.5 million. And I'm like, what? How much does a bus driver make? How much does they go look at these little houses that are like the size of a garage. And it's going to need a little work. asking price $1.2 million. I don't understand how you people in California live. You live a whole other world than us people in Alabama.
A whole other situation out there.
Okay, we haven't talked about BRICS in a long time. BRICS bloc launches BRICS Pay. You know, America, we launched, what's that thing called FedNow? Yeah. BRICS has now launched their app, BRICS Pay, a contactless digital blockchain payment system to circumvent the U.S. dollar and to trade CBDCs. Another jab is thrown to dethrone the dollar. While the masses' attention have been diverted in the latest conflict in the Middle East, the BRICS bloc has once again been making great strides in order to yet again create financial systems that do not involve the U.S. dollar. While we are sending billions of U.S. dollars away from our country, the world is doing away with our U.S. dollar. Little by little by little. BRICS is taking over the world, Sandy. Yes. BRICS is taking over the world.
So I was listening to someone before we came on the air, and they were talking about how Russia is so rich with the natural resources, and China has so many people that can provide labor and workforce.
Think about it.
You know, they got a
perfect marriage.
They got a perfect little marriage there in that sense. And we know they don't get along on every level and probably have many problems with each other. But listen, they are playing the long game and looking at the big picture.
The big picture. Yeah. Good point. Good little plug there, baby. I know you didn't mean to do that. Hey, but good news. They now found a way to keep chickens from getting bird flu.
Thank God.
Let's just use CRISPR technology. Nothing can go wrong with this, Sandy. This is a perfect plan. Let's alter the DNA of chickens. Scientists use CRISPR to gene edit chickens to make them resistant to the bird flu, raises the next wah-wah concerns. Former CDC Director Robert Redfield explicitly has warned that the bird flu will be the next great wah-wah that will happen because of gain-of-function research in laboratories will escape and they will be coming to have a wah-wah. But good news, we can now genetically alter with CRISPR technology that we've talked about here on chickens so that chickens will be immune to bird flu. But my question is, let's just be real. Some of you may have a chicken that's a pet, but chickens are not here on this world to be a pet. They're here on this world to do a couple of things. Give me my eggs for breakfast. Give me my chicken fingers for lunch. Okay? Let's just be real. Okay? They are here for my chicken fingers and my eggs. And I don't care which came first, the chicken or the egg. I eat them both.
Equal opportunity consumer, right? Look, yeah, all that.
What
but
could go wrong?
A bird flu could be one of the most deadly types of pandemics if that should ever be able to really cross bird to human efficiently.
Yeah. You okay, Sandy? You holding up?
I'm sorry. My head is spinning.
Smash that like button. If you have not smashed that like,
let us know we were not here in pain.
Give us some love, please.
Show some love. Please. Show some love. Woo.
Oh my goodness. Well, here's something cool. Now wait a minute. I hear something. I hear something. Y'all hear what I hear?
Is he scratching at the door?
I hear something.
Come on.
Jimmy!
He's saying, let me
Jimmy! Oh, Uncle Jimmy. Supernatural AI update. Hey, and don't forget, Supernatural update was really on another level. I can't tell you how much you need to be watching this show, y'all. Thursday night, it'll go live at 7 o'clock. No, not Thursday night. I keep saying Thursday. It's Tuesday night. It's tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Tomorrow night. It's Tuesday.
Tomorrow night.
October 24th.
I think you're distracted because of that big movie release. Anyway.
I am excited.
We can talk about that at the end.
But watch this right here. Mark Zuckerberg.
Thank God for it.
Is showing off Meta's new AI Ray-Bans. You got a pair of Ray-Bans at home? I can't afford them. I have to use the Dollar General pairs that look like AI. That look like, what are they called? Ray-Bans. Everybody, listen, I've worn my Dollar General or my Dollar Tree glasses before. I got them at Dollar Tree. Remember when Dollar Tree used to be $1? I used to get them for $1. And I'd wear them things, and people would be like, "Are those Ray-Bans?" I'd say, "No, they're Dollar Tree." So AI Ray-Bans, he used them to demonstrate how to learn how to braid his daughter's hair. You have got to watch this video, y'all. So watch this. This is him live streaming through his glasses, working on Mark Zuckerberg, working on his daughter's hair. Here we go.
Hey Meta, how do you make a braid?
To make a braid, brush the hair to remove tangles. Separate the hair into 3 equal sections and begin a basic braid by crossing the right section over the middle, followed by the left section over the middle, and so on.
All right. Well, here goes nothing.
Here goes nothing.
How does this feel?
Good.
Good.
Look at him. He's literally learning how to braid his
Not the most
hair
experienced braider,
from AI.
but I think we can get this done.
So, Sandy, it is happening. We literally don't need to go to school for anything.
So
there's no reason to go to college, no reason to go to school.
If I need to change a tire or install a ceiling fan, I'm okay now?
But look how, this is what we've been trying to tell you. This is actually pretty cool, and this is how they're going to sell it. This is cool. This is not it's not awkward. You ain't got to carry this computer around with you. Just put some glasses on, and just look at the glasses that have AI in the glasses, and they're Ray-Bans that, and when he goes out in the sun, they go, poof, they turn dark. Poof, they open up like those windows, those magical windows. That's what these Ray-Bans are like. And he just looks at it and says, "Hey, Meta, how do you make an omelet?"
Yeah.
Well, that's good. And all of a sudden you hear in your ear, "No, that was not good. Stir it a little bit more. Stir it a little bit more." I mean, it's like that movie. I can't think of it. Where everybody's stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Dumbification. What was it called? What was it called? Everybody's evolved into stupid. Idiots. Idiocracy. Yeah. Idiocracy. They evolved into stupid. They evolved into stupid. Okay, that's where we're going. The smarter we get, the smarter our phones get, the smarter AI gets, the dumber we get. We don't have to go to school. We don't have to learn nothing. And that's what they want. Am I right? Am I reaching too far?
No.
I think I'm right.
I think you're on point with that one.
I think I'm right. Well, let me tell you what some teachers are having to do, Sandy.
This is going to be interesting.
Teachers are having to do something really interesting.
Yeah.
Reintroduce this thing called a pencil.
Class, this is called a pencil.
Can you imagine? This is really happening. AI in the classrooms are forcing some teachers to reintroduce pencils. Some schools have attempted to ban the use of AI tools like ChatGPT. 4 out of every 10 teenagers, and I believe that there ain't no way that's accurate, but it says 4 out of 10 teenagers are likely to use artificial intelligence to complete their homework instead of handling their own research and accumulating English and grammar skills, even though the majority know it's probably wrong. According to a study released by the nonprofit Junior Achievement this summer, 60% of the 13 to 17-year-old teens surveyed viewed their use of AI as cheating. In response, teachers, some tech-savvy, some not, are either throwing their hands up with or without a counter strategy or requiring their students to turn in essays handwritten with a device. I love the words here. With a device some of their students have never used in secondary school or college. A pencil. The technology of a pencil.
Wow.
It's like, we keep going back to these programming movies. It's like these movies that when this dystopian world gets here, people have to go back to analog things. They have to go back to writing pieces of paper and handing each other notes to get around the tracking. Are we already there? Look, how many of y'all's kids that are still in school all the way through, and how about even if your kids are in college, can write anything in cursive? Number one. Number two, can write anything, period. I'll be honest with you, I'm 55 years old, and I'm a tech guy. I have found my handwriting
It's atrocious.
It's atrocious. It was bad to begin with, but as the years go by, if you don't do it, you lose it. And it's getting worse and worse. I find myself taking notes, even on my iPad with my iPad pencil. I'm taking notes, and I'll write something down, and I'm trying in my mind, I'm making an R, but a T will come out or something. I'll be like, what did I just do?
Oh, you're killing me.
What is happening to us?
That's just the perfect example of where we are, where we are in reality. But yeah, these poor teachers. I'm trying to read some of this chat while you're talking about this story.
This is what we call a pencil. This, do not chew it. No, I've not had to tell my students this for 15 years, but there's something inside of it that if you eat it, you will die. It's called lead. Remember when we used to chew on our pencils and our teachers would say, stop doing that, you're going to die. They got to start doing that again. My daughter graduated with a 4.0 and cannot write her name in cursive. Wow. That's the world we live in.
It is.
But here's a good thing, Sandy. AI is doing some good. And this should not scare you at all. AI can now screen for diabetes in seconds by listening to your voice.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
What?
I'm laughing because I'm really nervous.
What?
That they actually can do this, and it's scaring me. So.
This is from The Independent. This is the worldwide known newspaper. Scientists have discovered a way to test whether someone is diabetic by having them speak just a few sentences into their smartphone. A team from a U.S.-based Click Labs created an AI model capable of distinguishing whether a person has type 2 diabetes from 6 to 10 seconds of voice audio, with tests revealing an 89% accuracy rate for women and an 86% accuracy rate for men. Our research highlights significant vocal variations between individuals with and without type 2 diabetes. Who knew diabetes changed your voice and could transform how the medical community screens for diabetes? Current methods of detection can require a lot of time, travel, and cost. Voice technology has the potential to remove these barriers entirely. The study involved analyzing 18,000 recordings in order to identify acoustic features that differentiated non-diabetics from diabetics. Using signal processing, they were able to detect subtle changes in pitch and in intensity that are imperceptible to the human ear. What?
We have covered some stuff on this show.
Exactly.
But that is one of the craziest things. How did they come to this conclusion?
Exactly.
And is that really true? 89 and 86% accuracy?
That's what it said, but I'm going to answer your question. I don't think they came to this understanding. I think AI came to this understanding. I think AI is already so far advanced that AI told their programmers, hey, I've noticed something different between this one and this one, and I just checked their medical records, and I realized that they just got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and here's one I want to show you. These what do they call it? These anomalies that are in this versus this, and I've put all this data together, and now humans are saying, let's start a company that can do this. But AI is really starting the company because I think AI is the one that figured this out.
Are you guys hearing this? This is next level crazy.
Let's read the last line here, what they say. Voice technology could revolutionize healthcare practices as an accessible and affordable digital screening tool. Now, do you really want to go down the rabbit hole? Here's how my mind works. If that's the case, how far are we away? If that is true, that they can diagnose you with life-altering medical situations from your voice, how far are we away from having to enter into an office building or enter into a hospital where you have to they say, what's your name? Who are you here to visit? You say your name and who you are to visit, and AI determines you have the wah-wah. AI determines that you have the latest wah-wah. And without screening or whatever, AI says don't let them in. If this is true, is that too far-fetched to think that they could use that?
I don't think so. And how many other applications besides that?
Exactly. Okay. So, Uncle Jimmy.
He's bringing his game tonight.
There's our old buddy Bill Gates. Bill Gates-backed startup launches AI chatbot picks to curate and learn your entertainment experience. A company called Likewise, a Bill Gates-funded entertainment service with millions of active users, launched a new proprietary chat box called Pix, dubbed as, quote, the world's first personal entertainment companion. On October 5th press release, it says it helps users find their next favorite TV show, movie, book, or podcast. I'm going to tell you why I put this article in here. Users can send a text or email and receive entertainment recommendations within seconds. It's an AI chatbot that combines 600 million consumer data points and machine learning algorithms from Likewise with the natural language processing of OpenAI to make finding great content easy. It learns the individual preferences of each user and provides them with recommendations that are truly personalized. Watch this, truly personalized to the individual taste. Let me tell you what I think. That's the words from this company. They are not going to categorize this to your personal preference. They are going to make you think they are, but they are going to send you and make you believe this is what you're going to love, but it's really them slowly but surely programming you even further.
Come on.
They're going to send you what they want you to watch, not what you want to watch. Thoughts?
Very interesting, and how very perceptive. My goodness.
I'm on fire tonight. I am on fire tonight. In fact, I want to do this for me. Thank you.
This boy is on fire.
I'll be here all night. Actually, I'm only going to be here for a little bit longer. I got two more. Stay with me.
Just
two more. I'm going to show you one, and then I'm going to save one for the last. I always like to save the one for the last that makes you go, what? Are you serious? You said, well, I've already done that. Hold up. Because this last one that you're going to hear, you're going to be like, Jesus, come get us. Jesus, come get us.
Please, we can't stay here much longer. Hurry.
The race to save our secrets from the computers of the future. This is from this article here. It says, they call it in the industry Q Day. The day when a quantum computer, if you've heard anything about quantum computers, let me tell you something. That's that's the Terminator movie. When the quantum computers begin to take over, that's the Terminator movie. Watch this. When the quantum computer, one more powerful than any yet built, could shatter the world of privacy and secure as we know it. It would happen through a bravura act of mathematics, the separation of some very large numbers, hundreds of digits long, into their prime factors. That might sound like a meaningless division problem, but it would fundamentally undermine the encryption protocols that governments and corporations have relied on for decades. Sensitive information, such as military intelligence, weapons designs, industry secrets, and banking information are often transmitted and stored under digital locks that the act of factoring large numbers could crack open. Among the various threats of America's national security, the unraveling of encryption is rarely discussed in the same terms as nuclear proliferation, the global climate crisis, or artificial general intelligence. But for many of those working on the problem behind the scenes, they believe the danger is existential. This is potentially a completely different kind of problem than one we have ever faced. Former General Counsel of the National Security Agency and one of the authors of an expert consensus report on cryptology, quote, it may be that there's only a 1% chance of that happening, but a 1% chance of something catastrophic is something you need to worry about. So what they're saying in this article, it goes on to, you can find the article yourself and read it in depth. is that it is believed by many in the AI world, in the computer-generated world, that if and when, and I think it's a matter of when, these quantum computers are beginning to release. I mean, we can't even understand the processing of these quantum computers.
Well, one of these quantum computers, and this is several years back, had the computing power of every brain on the planet.
Exactly.
And obviously, they've advanced since then, and there are many of them. They're sold to corporations to process data. They're sold to governments. I mean, it's crazy.
And it will be the proverbial, I can't do that, Dave. Dave, I love you. Dave, Hal, was it Hal?
Hal 3000?
Hal 3000. We always mess it up every time we
CJ knows. He straightens us out every week.
I can't do that, Dave. Dave, I've now cracked your bank. I have all your money, Dave. I have your Social Security. I've locked your house, Dave. You can't get in your house now. I own your house. You can't drive your car because it's battery operated and I've shut it down. You cannot buy or sell. But Dave.
You can't use your car. You can't use your card. You can't leave your home.
But Dave.
You can't get on the phone to call for help.
Dave, I know you want to call for help, but Dave, I run your telephone now, Dave.
Wow.
Dave, all you have to do is take this mark on your right hand on your forehead, Dave. Worship me, Dave. And all your answers will be, I will say yes to all your questions. But Dave, you must surrender everything. Listen, y'all can laugh at us if you want to. We are not coming in that world. We live in that world now. Okay? Well, here's a way that you can stay in touch with us. We got one more. Don't leave. We got one more to show you.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll close the show. One more news item that you don't want to miss.
One more again. Yep.
But we need some folks to go out there and get a copy of our book. And if you have got a copy of our book, I See Greatness in You, go to Amazon and leave us a 5-star review, please, if it blessed you. Take a picture of it. If you'd like to become a partner with us, all you got to do is click on to become a partner, and we'll be taken to this part of our website where you can send. I'll leave that up there right now, Larry Ragland Ministries, P.O. Box 9489. You can pause it, go back to it. If you'd like to send us a check and help us out, we would appreciate it. There's no charge for anything we do here. We just appreciate that. You can click the one-time gift, and you can give online, or you can become, and this is what we really need some help with on our television program. These are our partners. You can set this up on a monthly $10, $25, $50, or $100 a month, and you will know that you are helping us reach millions of people through television. If you have DirecTV, you can watch us. Roku, you can watch us. And we're hoping to grow that in 2024 and beyond.
Yes.
But you can go there. And also, when you go there, then, of course, all of our videos are there. You can see all of our former videos that we have. There's ways you can go to our merchandise store, and you can connect with all of our social media. Connections are there, easily be able to give in different ways. You can join our mailing list. All of that is there, okay? Jimmy's got one more thing, y'all. Now, this is not really supernatural AI, but
it's just super gross.
This is just super, I want to tell you what else it is. It's super confirmation.
Evil. Yeah.
We've been telling you for months and months and months that you will eat the bugs.
Yeah, the word came down.
You will eat the bugs. Remember Klaus Schwab said...
And we never thought that he was kidding because he's just that kind of person, right?
Yeah.
But hey...
But remember, Agenda 2030 is coming quick. And the part of Agenda 2030 was doing away with meat, doing away with several items that you want and you love and that you think, there ain't no way they're taking my meat. Let me tell you something. They are coming after your steaks. They're coming after your hamburgers. They're coming after your T-bones. Have you drove by Burger King lately? The biggest advertisement on Burger King, which I don't go to Burger King, but is the Impossible Burger. Who thought up that?
Yep.
It's impossible for me to eat it.
It's like somebody knew something.
Here we go, y'all. Here we go.
Yeah.
So this is breaking 4 days ago. Tyson Foods is partnering with the World Economic Forum to open an insect processing plant. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to read it again. Tyson Foods. You know Tyson, the number one processor of chickens in the world, is teaming up with the World Economic Forum's vision to open a, quote, insect processing plant. Yes, corporate America has gone so far, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to this. Tyson Foods Incorporated the largest producer in the U.S. of all kinds of meats, has now bought a stake in the Netherlands-based insect protein company, Protix. Ticks. Think about that. Ticks. Got a tick on me? Oh, let's just eat him. Let's just put him on a burger. He's protein. Protix BV. Protix BV describes itself as, quote, they are leading the world in technical aspects of insect production. You need technology to learn how to have more bugs? Just don't clean your house. The companies has been held by the World Economic Forum and was awarded from WEF, the globalist organization's Technology Pioneer. You're going to award the Technology Pioneer Award to a company that has mastered the ability to process bugs. Protix CEO Keith Artis is also listed as a member of the World Economic Forum. The two companies, Tyson and Protix, will collaborate to establish a manufacturing facility in the United States. The new plant will produce bug-based meal and oil, typically used in fish feed and dog food. However, Tyson CFO John Tyson, he's in the family, said in an interview, quote, in the long run, the company will produce products that are good for people. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry opportunity that has tremendous growth potential, and we see Protix as being a leader there. Tyson added that insect protein inclusion can be beneficial to both the planet and the animals.
Wow. Ground floor opportunity here, folks.
Oh, get in now. Get in now. Invest in bugs. Wow.
Don't even know what to say about that.
Wow.
But he did tell you, you will eat the bugs.
My goodness. Old Protix.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, who come up with that name? Protix. Protein and ticks. Yeah.
Well,
there it is.
We got a big night tomorrow night. Hope that you come and watch the show. If you're not able to,
not that show. Sorry.
There's a big movie premiere, and we happen to have some tickets.
Yeah, we got about
available.
20 tickets. If you're in Birmingham area, you need to go to solidrockchurchevents.com, solidrockchurchevents.com. But I want to let's just go ahead and give some shout out to our friend Mike Signorelli. Because this is a movie, and wherever you're watching this, go to your movie theater and see if you can see that the Domino Revival is at your movie theater, because you're going to want to be a part of this. Let's just show a little bit of this, this trailer.
Right.
This is going to be an incredible movie. And we bought out a whole movie theater.
The Bible isn't the story of what happened. It's the story of what always happens.
See, when fear is
Society
everywhere,
is attempting to redefine right and wrong. God's people are being faced with a decision. Do I bow in fear or stand for truth?
Come on.
Stand!
It might look like it's dark. It might look like it's impossible.
Now, some of y'all ain't going to know how to handle that. I'm going to pause it right now, because some of y'all be like,
yeah,
what just happened there? What just happened there? That's called laying hands on the sick and seeing them recover.
Right.
Let me tell you something. There is a spirit realm there are portals that are open. If you're going to watch things in supernatural and paranormal and believe in UFOs and aliens and Bigfoot and werewolves and all this, can I tell you something? You got something else you need to believe in that's bigger than that. That's the supernatural power of God.
Come on.
And if you don't have your heart right with God, you think the world is bad off now, you ain't seen nothing yet. But on this show and everywhere we go, we're going to be hope dealers. We're not fear dealers. We're not fear pushers. We're hope pushers.
Yep.
We just want to open your eyes to the craziness of this world so that you're not asleep, and we're always going to point you back to Jesus.
So I got two things to say.
Go, baby.
grab one of those tickets that are still available. Be with us tomorrow night.
Solid Rock Church Events.
Crazy.
Let's say that one more time. Solid Rock Church Events.
SolidRockChurchEvents.com.
Go ahead.
And how many tickets did you say?
There's about 22 maybe left.
22, maybe less now. Yeah. Love to see you there. Yeah. And it's going to be
wild.
But
watch it. Go watch it in your city.
Because ain't no party like a Holy Ghost party, and the Holy Ghost party don't stop. So come on down and be with us.
All right. Well, we love y'all. Another Monday coming on. It's been a blessing. We love y'all. Can't wait to read the live chat. I think tonight's going to be a good one. I've just looked over at some of y'all. We're going to be dying laughing, y'all. But y'all are amazing. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Mwah. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for all the super thanks. Thank you for all those that became partners with us here.
Yes.
Go to our website and become a partner with us. We would appreciate it. Sandy, no matter what's going on in the world,
that's right.
We ain't woke.
Nope.
But we are certainly awake. Good night. See you next time. See you tomorrow night.